And now the latest around the wide world of tropics. Tropical Weather Bulletin for October 3rd. So the main storm out there is Hurricane Marie, a Category 4, and Tropical Depression 25 has formed in the Western Caribbean Sea and is expected to become another named storm in that marathon Atlantic hurricane season. Day 227 of the year, we've seen 77 storms so far. Day 124 in the Atlantic, the remnants of Paulette still traceable and a 10% attached to it as it moves westwards. 10% also in the main development region and 20% in the Central Caribbean for another system behind 25L. Those are our numbers. In the Eastern Pacific, Marie there has pulled clear away from those other areas of interest. Both of them marked at 20% now on day 141 of the season there. Marie, 130 mile an hour Category 4, and probably one of the lowest pressures that it's got so far in its life. In the Western Pacific, we've got these three areas of interest. Models suggesting maybe that there could be a split from that main system now that's currently 40%, and maybe that offshoot will go off towards the Japanese islands. We've marked a 20% there, and that 10% still near the Philippines. In the Indian Ocean, we've still got a 20% chance for an area of interest in the south of the equator, which will be progressing towards the west over the next 5 days. Looking at the Atlantic then, you can see just how broad the tropical depression is, 25, looking very good indeed, and I may look fairly foolish by the time this video comes out if the National Hurricane Center designated as a tropical storm within minutes of this publication. Unfortunately, that's just how it goes sometimes. But there it is, looking very good on satellite imagery. Enormous, really is expected to become at least a moderate tropical storm, maybe stronger. The Eastern Pacific, you can quite clearly see Marie there looking very good. The eyes come out again after a little bit of transition phase in the last 24 hours, maybe an eyeball replacement cycle. It's been through some upheaval. Some areas of interest there entering the Pacific as well. Haven't really flared up properly just yet. And in the Western Pacific, you've got a rather disorganized mess there with that big system that's to the northwest of the Mariana Islands. Again, that could actually become two systems. We'll wait and see on that one. You can sort of possibly see that already starting to occur. We don't know. We'll see how that goes. In the South Pacific Ocean, this is what it looks like right now. You can see one or two little areas of convection bobbing up there off Papua New Guinea and north of Fiji, and the Indian Ocean looks like this, somewhat quiet actually. The Andaman Sea has the most activity, as well as area around Thailand. And to the south there, just below the equator, you can see actually that area of interest not looking quite as good as it did on yesterday's update. Sea surface temperatures are still fairly warm off the coast of Mexico. Where Marie is right now, it will be starting to hit those colder temperatures fairly soon, I would say, so it's not got much longer left to keep going as it is, and probably won't intensify much more, if at all. The Atlantic, very warm in the Western Caribbean where that depression is. Towards the east there as well, still 28 degrees easily, 30 plus in the Western Caribbean off the Yucatan, off the coast of Cuba and the Bahamas. The Indian Ocean, temperatures creeping up again here, 30 degrees in one or two spots even in the South Indian, but mainly off the coast of India itself. And in the Western Pacific, still very warm waters extending to high latitudes up to the Japanese islands. Still a comfortable 26 degrees Celsius in sea surface temperatures almost all the way to the islands. That's plenty for a tropical cyclone. 30 degrees in the Philippine Sea for large parts of it, and various chunks of the South China Sea, which is well above average, as you can see on this anomaly chart. The Eastern Pacific, much warmer than average off the Baja California coast and the US West Coast, but the La Nina in effect in the equatorial zone. The Atlantic looking good as well for sea surface temperatures. The areas that matter are above average. On October 3rd, 2002, you might be surprised by this, a bit of a forgotten storm I feel. Hurricane Lily peaked as a Category 4 on this day, as it was in the Gulf of Mexico, and we were really looking at a worst case scenario for the Gulf Coast. Could have been a Category 4 landfall, but it did miraculously weaken and barely a Category 1 by the time it came ashore. Nonetheless, Lily did get retired in the end. Kyle was also active, and the remnants of Higos after passing through Japan yesterday, moving off towards the northeast. So we are on the cusp of receiving our next Atlantic storm name. If we do get it, it will be Gamma. We may already have it by the time this goes out, who knows. The Eastern Pacific, the next name is Norbert, followed by Odalis. In the Central Pacific, the next name is Hone. In the Western Pacific, we're looking out for Chanhom, followed by Linfa. The North Indian Ocean sees Gati as the next name on list 1. In the Southern Hemisphere then, still signs that we could be seeing something soon. Imogen will be next up in the Australian region, followed by Joshua. In the Southwest Indian Ocean, the first name would be Alicia, and in the South Pacific, it's Yolanda. That's all for now. We'll be back with another tropical weather bulletin on Sunday night.